Hello, we are Pop Cultured. This is episode one. I'm Dex,
I'm Troy.
and that's us. We're Pop Cultured. This is the show where we talk about all things geeky and nerdy. And why are we doing this, Troy? Why are we doing this? What is this?
Why? A while back, I've been doing podcasts all over the place, and someone said to me, like, why have you not just started your own? Because you seem to be collecting them at the minute. And I messaged you because I was like, I'm thinking of doing a podcast, and I don't know what to do. And I kept messaging you and asking like bits and bobs and what you thought. And then I just was like, why don't I just ask Dick to do it with me?
Yeah, and here we are. And obviously, I said yes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. But yeah, I'm excited. I think there's a lot for us to talk about. Every episode could be a different theme. And this one, for example, I see the suit behind you. I see you've moved it right into position, which is lovely, in between your Daredevil suit and your Daredevil poster, because there's just been not even a new trailer, the
Timing.
first trailer, right, for this new Superman film from James Gunn. Now, this is a true story. You texted me earlier with no context, and you were just like, "Mate, I'm so excited." Um, and that was presumably when you watched the trailer, right?
Oh, I loved it straight away. There was
Glorious
no
two
way I
minutes.
wasn't going to, but
Wow.
like,
Yes. I knew this. I knew you were gonna love it. Okay, so talk me through it because I've seen the trailer as well, and presumably now, if anyone's listening, hopefully they've also seen the trailers. So talk me through it. So like, do you remember like the sequence of stuff that happens and what you see? So like, talk us through what actually happens in the trailer.
the first thing is actually quite surprising, isn't it? Like we
Mm.
see him beaten up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that took me for a swing. I was like, whoa, well, okay. But thinking about it, I'm like, James has already said that he wants to humanize the character. So it's like straight away we're going away from that thing like he's invincible and showing him battered. He's absolutely gone. Like he's like not even moving or anything. He's just wheezing.
Yeah, he like crashes from somewhere, like up,
Yeah.
presumably up high, like into the ice, right? That's literally the first thing we see, isn't it?
Mm.
And yeah, you're right. He's just like he's not in a good way. There's like blood. There was quite a. I thought it was quite graphic actually for a trailer. There's quite a lot of blood on his face, like pouring out of his mouth. Like,
Yeah, for what they'd said they were going for, definitely, because they said they are going a lighter-hearted version. It's going to be more like the comics sort of thing. So to open with that was quite a shock. I was not expecting that. Um, and then we go straight into seeing him as Clark, which,
yeah,
gotta be honest, like we haven't seen anyone do Clark like that since Christopher Reeve. No one's really done
interesting.
it.
What do you mean by like that? Like, what specifically
The
about that Clark?
the stumbling, hunched over, not really proud standing guy who's like, oh, sorry, bumping into people. Like, a lot of heroes, their superhero identity is their secret identity. You think of Spider-Man, you think of Batman, all them. Superman's secret identity is sort of Clark Kent
Absolutely, yeah.
because he's throwing you off from who he actually is. So this, like, Christopher Reeve was fantastic at it. There's a scene where Christopher Reeve is like, I think he was talking to Lois, and he's hunched over as Clark, and he's like about to tell her he's Superman, and you just see him just go, and the person changes. Like the face doesn't change, his hair doesn't change, but that's not the same person stood there now. That is a different person. And I feel
Yeah,
as though the way we've seen David doing that, we're gonna get the same sort of thing.
yeah. David Corenswet, the guy playing Superman. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Y- Yes, that's an interesting point actually, because like that is meant to be the distinctive contrast. Like, if okay, so as a more casual Superman fan, I'll admit, like to me, it was always interesting that the Superman alter ego of Clark Kent, the disguise is merely that he puts on glasses, and this is a sort of thing that people joke about all the time. Oh, he just put on glasses. Like, how could no one tell he's Superman?
Mhm.
But what you're saying is actually really interesting in that it's not just the glasses, it's the demeanor, it's how he carries himself. It's like, well, there's no way this could
Exactly.
be the same guy because, like, by all accounts, Clark is such a loser and Superman is so cool, right? That's supposed to be the contrast, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Aha,
Completely.
I see. Okay, cool. So we see a bit of Clark in the trailer.
Mhm.
Talk like I can't remember what happens then. We see Lois as well, right? Like there's
Yeah, we see
she appears
Lois
in
and a
it pretty
couple
quick.
of yeah, Lois is there. We see I think next we actually see him save the child. which I love. Like, that
That
is
was cool.
fantastic. Like, it's been, again, a long time, except for in the TV shows a bit. We've seen him save a single person or just save someone in general. Snyder's versions went very much for the God aspect of
Mm,
Superman. Like, he did a couple of ones in Man of Steel, which was the oil rig, and then the odd snippet in Batman v Superman, but they were like a montage thing. It never actually showed him doing it. This is
hmm.
going back to more, again, Christopher Reeve in the comics. We're going to see him. He can do all that big guy stuff and taking on an alien and stuff, but he will still save a child when he has to.
Yeah,
Again, humanizing the character, bringing him back down to earth.
that's pretty cool,
Um,
actually.
which I have also. This is the kaiju, this is the big dragon thing or whatever it is. I
Yeah.
think that's the start of the film. I think that's the opening scene
Ah,
because they have. Someone has said that I can't remember if it was James himself has said the movie will start with an action scene. You will just be dropped straight into it rather than like an origins or anything. There's no origin story. You are dropped straight into an action scene, and I think that'd be a great start.
hmm. I'm inclined to agree with you. I think that's quite cool, to be fair, because like we know this origins of Superman, right? We don't need to see it told
Yeah,
again, surely, right? Um, yeah, he's an alien. His planet blows up. He gets shot into space, happens to land on Earth, gets adopted by Jonathan and Martha, and it's like, oh crap, this kid's not one of us, and he has powers and stuff. Let's make him make sure he's a good person, sort of deal. Like we
Martha, our
that's
9-year-old just lifted my tractor.
that's normal. That's just a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Welcome to
like
Smallville.
literally, yeah. Uh, um, but like the fact that we don't need to see any of that, and presumably that's already happened. Maybe we'll see bits of it in flashback. I genuinely don't know,
Mm.
but to have it not start there, I agree with you. Is kind of a cool choice. It's like let's see Superman at his Supermaniest, like right straight up right away, right? Um, okay, what else is in the trailer? What else can we pick out?
We see probably who's going to be everyone's favorite character in the entire film, Crypto the Superdog,
Something Superdog, absolutely.
which he looks fantastic. They've gone for a very different looking Crypto because Crypto is usually like
Oh,
a how do you call it? Like straight haired, not shaggy, sort of like dog,
yeah,
like a
I
more like a
guess, yeah.
lab, like a Labrador
Okay,
sort of
sure.
looking
I
dog.
I, I know nothing
Um,
about dogs. It's I have no idea
it's
about dogs.
Crypto's changed over the years a lot.
Okay.
Um, but they have definitely gone for more like a shaggy looking dog. James Gunn's already said that it's literally based on his own dog,
Oh,
um,
no way.
which is pretty cool. He
Oh,
adopted a dog during the start of Superman called Ozzy, and just decided
oh.
I want to put Krypto in the movie. They've also said that the relationship is more complex than they've shown in the trailer because at the minute it just looks like it's man's best friend.
Mm.
Um, but they've said there's a lot more to it,
Huh.
which is going to be interesting
That is
because
interesting.
I mean James Gunn's got a good track record with animals.
It's true. That's like he made us love a foul-mouthed talking raccoon,
On a tree.
um, and a tree, a talking tree that says three words,
Yeah,
four if you count the end of the first Guardians, which I do,
yeah.
obviously. Um,
And the third one, when he actually speaks to the audience.
oh yeah, I literally forgot about that. I've only seen the third Guardians
Yeah.
once, but yes, I literally forgot about that until you just said it. Um, yeah, if he can make a talking tree lovable, then it should be like easy pickings for a dog, right? Everyone loves dogs
Oh god,
already.
yeah. Should be.
So,
Christ.
yeah. Even
Um,
as a cat person, I
Nick,
was like, I like this dog. I'm cool with this dog. So,
yeah, I think yeah, Crypto just needs to be like a quite angsty, sort of like very full of energy sort of dog. I think that'll be the case. I think that's gonna be the case. And obviously, it's gonna be like save him, which is pretty cool. Like again, man's best friend humanizes him again that he needs help. It doesn't. It's
yeah.
not just he can do it himself. He needs help sometimes. Uh, we finally see Nicholas Holt bald
Yep.
as
Yep.
Lex Luthor, which I
Yep.
think he looks great. It's
Yes.
I don't know if I'm the only one. I found it quite jarring seeing him bald at first.
Yes, I was as well. I was like, "Is that Nicholas Holt?" Because I didn't know the cast before I saw the trailer, and
Oh,
I was like,
I knew
"Nicholas
the
Holt's in this? He's
casting,
Lex
but I
Luthor?"
was just like, oh, okay. But
Yeah,
it's really good. It's just jarring that it's Nicholas Holt bald. Um, but he looks great.
yeah. I, uh, I read that Nicholas Holt took inspiration from Michael Rosenbaum's portrayal of Lex Luthor from Smallville. Um, and I wonder, like, to be honest with you, when I saw him, I did get a bit of that like Smallville flashback. I was like,
Definitely.
it feels very like the show.
Mm,
But all of the shots we see of his Luthor feel very like sinister. It feels like you don't see Luthor the businessman or the suave, individual that he can be. All you see is like Luthor the villain. Like he just looks mean in every shot of the trailer. I thought I've
yeah.
only seen it once, but yeah. So I wonder how close that will be to. Again, I have no frame of reference. I wonder how close that'll be to the Smallville reference or the Superman comics that James Gunn took inspiration from for this film.
I mean, Nicholas Holt has said like his main aim was to make Lex Luthor feel dangerous.
Mm,
And I know we've only seen snippets, but he looks it. He looks
yeah,
menacing, like
yeah, very true. Um,
psychotic sort of thing.
yeah,
Um, the movie's stacked though. Like there's a lot in it. Like that is my only slight concern. That is the only thing I've got with it. There is so many characters um, that I do want them to be just side characters. I don't want
hmm
them like too many main characters. We've obviously got Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, which
yeah.
I've already seen people say online. Oh, he looks terrible. He looks terrible. Guy Gardner does. He's a running gag. He's not how that guy gets a Green Lantern ring in the comics is beyond me. He should not have a Green Lantern ring.
I
He's
see.
a he's a dick.
Oh, no way.
Straight
Oh,
up, he's
okay.
just an absolute dick.
Oh, no way.
Um,
Okay. That's quite funny then.
so obviously with the bowl cut as well, the
The
ginger
bowl cut.
bowl.
Yes.
Um, and he's Nathan Fillion. He's obviously just going to be a dick, isn't he? Like it's so
Exactly.
obvious. Looking at how
And
he
he's
is
gonna be
already
so
in that.
fun. So fun to
Yeah.
watch as a dick. We love
Um,
Nathan Fillion.
we've got Hawk Girl. I'm not sure of the
Yep.
actress's name. Mr. Terrific, which is a
I don't who is
fantastic
Mr.
character.
Terrific?
Mr. Terrific is
Um
one of the smartest people in the DC universe. Like
oh right.
he's all technology and stuff like that. So if you see when he uses the shield,
Yeah.
is there's like little balls he uses. He has balls that he throws around that can produce different things and bits like that. Um,
Okay.
Another little Easter egg that I saw on someone else's reactions is that the soldiers that are shooting at him might be LexCorp soldiers because they're wearing purple and green.
I see.
So
Yes, like his comics look, I
they're wearing
guess.
on. Yeah, it looks like they're
Yeah.
wearing purple undersuits and green armor. So it's
Aha.
more. So that might be another thing. But Mr. Terrific's a really cool character. Um,
Hmm.
they're obviously all wearing matching uniforms. Um, which I know a little bit of from spoilers from behind the scenes, which I won't go into too much because that's probably a little bit too much because you don't see that in the
Okay.
trailers. There's little Easter eggs on their suits that if you know, you know. Um,
Ah,
but this
okay.
then the one thing we don't know is we know Lex is in there, and Lex is a Superman villain. But is he the main villain?
Oh, that's an
Like we don't
interesting
actually know.
question.
Like we see
Huh.
Metamorpho. That's another character we see in there. Very snippety. He looks like a White Walker. You see just one shot of his face really quickly.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, okay. That was that guy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, who can like alter into different materials and stuff like that, as in like
Ah,
metamorphosize sort of thing. Um,
right.
then we see him fighting someone in the baseball stadium in a black suit. Um, we don't know who that actually is. From behind the scenes, we know that Frank Grillo is in the movie as Rick Flag
Mhm.
Sr., who is in Creature
Yep.
Commandos at the minute. And
Yep.
then one of the characters from The Authority, the Mechanist, I think he's Mechanist, is in the movie.
I'm okay. I'm on the Wikipedia page now, looking
Yeah,
at the Authority. Um, a member of the Authority whose abilities come from nanotechnology built in her body. Is that the Engineer? It looks like.
Engineer, sorry. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in the film.
Right.
There is so many in this thing, and
Yeah.
I know he's world building, but I just hope that there's not too much in it.
hmm hmm
But
I
then at the
assume,
like,
like how you mentioned that you want everyone to be all of these people to be side characters.
mm,
I think, well, my assumption is that the Nathan Fillion Guy Gardner scene, for example, where he like appears like in the building with Superman, like kind of approaching him. My assumption is that that's the only scene we'll see Guy Gardner in, maybe, and like each of these people, each of these characters might get one scene, or like, again, maybe similar to you. This is my hope rather than my assumption,
mm,
because we know that James Gunn is very good at world building. We know he's very prolific at like making us care about a group of characters. Um, so I can only assume that he can also make us care about one character and focus
mm,
purely on an individual story. So, which is what it should be. It's called Superman. It's not called
yeah.
Superman and the Justice League or Superman and Guy Gardner Green Lantern. you know.
I mean, of all
So
of them, the one I want to see most is of those side characters, Mr. Terrific. I really like
okay,
Mr. Terrific as a character, so I want to see more of Mr. Terrific. But he's already setting up things like I don't know. Have you ever seen the Justice League Unlimited cartoon? Have you
I
ever
have
watched
not,
that?
to be fair. No.
Or just Justice League anyway. So, Hawk Girl ends up with John Stewart, Green Lantern, as a couple,
Mm, okay.
and obviously we've got lanterns coming with John Stewart.
Yes, very
So
true.
you're
I
already
see.
sowing seeds a little bit of that could happen.
That makes
Um,
sense.
Bits and bobs there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then we end the trailer with what we saw in the background of the first initial photo is that massive, great big pink and green thing.
yes.
No idea. I haven't got even got a comment on that. I have no idea what that is.
Fair. I was hoping you would have something, but if you don't even know, then that's fair
Nothing.
enough. Like that's saying something.
There's like
Um,
there's characters I could pick, but there's so many. It's like no idea, not a clue. Wouldn't be able to pick one exactly at all.
uh, Okay, so for listeners' sake, just a bit of background. Troy is probably the biggest Superman fan I know. Like, it's not just the films either. You've read quite a few of the comic book runs.
Read a fair few comic book runs, yeah.
Yes, a fair few, he
Yeah.
says with a
They
smile.
are all
Yeah, a
quite
fair
hard to
few.
remember once you've read them quite a long time ago, but yeah.
Mm,
I'll go back to a couple, be like, I can't remember that one, and then go back to it. But I've got my favourites, definitely, and stuff like that.
Fair enough. And like this one, I mean, there's so much we can pick apart here. So my first question to you, because I mean, you clearly know all these characters. Like I didn't hear him. I have no idea who Mr. Terrific is until you said it, until I saw the trailer. And apparently he is a superhero and inventor who uses a variety of high-tech gadgets to fight crime. I mean, fair enough. But like, are all of these characters, like I'm just looking at the character list here, like Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, obviously you've mentioned Guy Gardner, there's Hawkgirl in it as well, but then Eve Teschmacher, the engineer, as we mentioned, like, are all of these characters genuinely connected to Superman in some way, or is it just James Gunn being like, "Oh, these are DC characters that maybe people don't know, or that I'm a fan of, and I'm putting them in this film"? Like, what do you think? How does it work?
Some of them are. Some of them are connected. Some of them are a Daily Planet. Like I think
Oh,
Eve
okay,
is a Daily Planet. I could have sworn Eve is a Daily Planet member or connected to the Daily Planet in some capacity. I
okay,
think the other ones are a little bit more just DC. A little bit.
okay,
They're all. He does seem to be leading very like the cartoon with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Um, they have all obviously connected at some point in the comics, with it being the DC universe. Um, I think it's just Gunn sowing the seeds a little bit on
okay.
those terms.
Right. So a bit more of like, we know that this might be important later. It's universe building, maybe,
Mm,
for him.
I
Get
think
the
so. Yeah.
groundwork
Mm.
done. Okay, that makes sense. So, like in terms of, okay, so we talked about, there's so many things that I want to circle back to because we've mentioned them, but let's go to Lex Luthor for a sec because you said that he looks quite sinister in this. Absolutely. And we're not sure if he's the main villain, which would be a very interesting move, actually. But, like, what makes Lex Luthor so dangerous for Superman? Like, why is he Superman's nemesis?
I mean, obviously he's got the money. He's Lex Corp. He owns like
Right.
or Luthor Corp as they've called it in this.
Right.
Um,
Oh
I
yeah, I
think
didn't even
they've called
notice
it.
that. You're right. Yeah, they call it
Yeah, I
Luther
think
Corp, not
I
Lex
think
Corp.
they've called it. I think they've called it Luther Corp because the Snyder one was called Lex Corp, and
Ah,
it's a little bit just. We're not like not disologing that, or isn't that's probably not the word, but anyway. Um,
we'll cut it out. It's fine.
but yeah, Luther's main reason is his mind. Like he is. I think Batman has said it once that Luther is the smartest man on the planet.
Whoa,
He
okay.
said that. So in terms of inventing and stuff like that, he is the smartest man on the planet. So I mean, I think humans wise, you're probably looking at Bruce Wayne, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific, maybe as the three. That for me, I would put them as the top three smartest. Maybe there's other people like Ted Korg is very smart, who's one of the Blue Beetles. Um, but yeah, for Batman in the comics to say Luthor's the smartest man on the planet is saying something. So it's always his mind. It's his tactics and his mind that makes him so dangerous.
Interesting. But I mean, that kind of implies then that, like, not that he's necessarily known for it, but Superman is going to be significantly less intelligent than Lex Luthor just by that sheer comparison. Like, if you're one of the smartest, you're gonna be a different league on that level, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I guess, I mean, is Superman known for being like much of a tactician, or is he just like a he's super strong and he'll just mess you up sort
He's
of
a
deal?
bit. He's not dumb.
Hmm.
um, he's pretty clever. Like there is bits and bobs. Obviously, Clark's a um. Oh my God, a reporter. So he's got a bit of something about him, and he doesn't just always barrel into situations and stuff like that. But Luther is just such a smart inventor and stuff like that. So he's like leagues above sort of thing, really.
Right. So he brains and money, obviously. And I guess it's like,
Hmm.
to use a different universe example, it's like if Iron Man, if Tony Stark was evil, he'd
Exactly.
be Lex Luthor. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, that puts it in
pretty
perspective for me.
much.
Because
Yeah.
right, because I'm more of a Marvel person, so yeah, that
Mm,
absolutely is like that makes sense to me, that
yeah,
comparison. Okay, that's quite dangerous. I can see why that's a very dangerous thing to
just a
have.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like evil plus money. What's real life right now? It's like evil people with money. So,
One of them owns Twitter.
right? It's true. We don't shy away from our political leanings on this show. Um, okay, so like with, I mean, Luther has, I guess, being rich and being smart is its own power. Like Batman's power is, I mean, I'd argue is being rich, but he's also
Mm,
extremely clever,
mm.
very like deductively clever, world's greatest detective and all that. What's Crypto's deal? Like, why is he a super dog? How did that happen?
From what I remember rightly, crypto is one that I'm not massively clued up on. But what if I can remember
Okay,
rightly is crypto is from Krypton. That
that makes sense.
he was put in the pod with Clark Kal-El when he came to the to Earth. So again, his cells and everything are from another planet. So it's exactly the same thing that he's using the power of the sun. That's what radiates him, and he gets the powers as well.
Got it. I mean, I guess it's as simple as that. Like he's from the same place,
Yeah,
same deal as Superman.
simple. Yeah,
Huh. So presumably, I mean, I hope there's not a scene like this because that would be crushing. But presumably, Crypto's weakness is also kryptonite.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. I don't know if you
So,
know, Superman is also weak to magic. Did you know
wait,
that?
what? No,
Yeah, that's
really?
another weakness of Superman, magic. Yeah.
Like
So
Zatanna can
he
just
has
like,
got yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like he has other weaknesses. Like when everyone says, "Oh yeah, the Scarlet Witch could take him down," and people go, "No, no, he's too powerful." If they ever do a crossover, that probably would be the character you'd send against him.
magic. How's it work? Like, I guess it just magic is magic.
Yeah, like magic is magic on
Huh.
any planet. So yeah, I think so.
That's an interesting. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Magic is magic on any planet. It's my new theme park tagline. Um, okay. So like, I mean, who uses magic then? I've just mentioned Zatanna, obviously, but like, Constantine, is his
Constantine.
stuff magic? His it's magic.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
it's
it counts as
Constantine uses
magic, right?
magic. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Um, who else in DC uses magic?
I think like who some of the big power. Doctor Fate is a big one.
Doctor Fate. Yeah,
Doctor
that's
Fate's a
true.
big one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of villains that use it. I can't name them off the top of my head. Trying to think. One of the biggest ones for Superman is this is really gonna tax my naming. Mr. Mixit
I know who you're talking about because I've seen that name and I was
from
like, how the
the
hell do I
fifth
say that?
dimension. He's a fifth dimensional imp, and he
Oh,
literally um just comes to mess with Superman. I think it's like every 6 months he pops up, and the only way to get rid of him is to get him to say his name backwards, something like that. That's the only way he'll disappear.
oh my God.
But he's a reality altering imp.
That sounds OP as hell, actually.
It's he looks weird as well. He literally is like a little imp in a purple and orange dungarees with a little top hat. It's a weird, weird character.
What? I'm Googling this right now. Mr.
Try and
Mix.
spell it. I
Ah,
don't
there
know
it
how to
is.
spell it.
Thank God Google filled it
Just
in for me. Mr. MXYZPTLK.
Mixie Spitalik or
Mixitalik,
Mixie
yeah. But
Spitalik. Nice.
wow, look at this costume. This is you. Okay, I see what you mean.
Can you imagine that in
He's got
live
a
action? Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. That would be perfect. Perfect casting would be Danny DeVito. Because yeah, look,
Danny
he's got like
DeVito,
he's
or if he was still around, Vern Troyer.
Vern Troyer. Oh my God. Could you imagine? I
Or the
like I
guy
could
from Joker.
the guy from Joker.
I can't remember his name. The one who's nice to him.
Oh,
This is the one in the
um,
comedy club who's nice to him.
yes.
Is it
Oh
Gary?
my God. Hang on, I'm googling that too because
I can't remember his name. But that guy, we now fan
uh,
casting mixes Spittley.
oh my God, who is that? Oh, I can't find the cast list.
I don't
Oh
remember his
yeah, I can't
name.
find the cast list. We'll figure. We're gonna remember and be like,
Yeah,
oh, it was
I'm
this.
gonna have a quick Google.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this Mr. Mixespitalik
Gary,
nope.
Lee Gill. I've got him.
Lee
Literally.
Gill. I have to pull up his face again. Lee Gill.
There you go.
Oh yes, yes, he's a dwarf actor. Yes,
Yeah.
and he was in Game of Thrones. That's right. That's right. I
Was he?
remember now. Apparently,
Oh,
according to this,
oh.
I can't remember like who he played specifically. Um,
No,
but
I
yeah,
can't.
okay. So because Mr. I this is gonna fuck me up. Mr. Mixius Pitalik is so he is. Oh, I see. Yeah, because I've seen. I'm looking at this picture of him in like an original Action Comics number 80, apparently.
Mm.
And yeah, he's tiny. He's an imp. You're right. So like, yeah,
There's a
to
Batman
cast a
version as
dwarf
well.
actor, huh?
There's a Batman version as well called Batmite.
Of course there is.
Literally just
Of
put Bat
course there is.
MIT.
Batmite.
And it'll
Bat
come up. There's
MIT.
again, it's just another one of the imps from another world who's a fan of Batman.
Oh my gosh. It's like Toon Batman, but like that sounds weird to say. Like a weird like what's the word I'm looking for? When they have like over
Can you imagine if
exaggerated
Zack
features.
Snyder had used these characters?
Oh my God. The
We were robbed.
gratiness.
We were
We were
robbed.
robbed. We were robbed. It could have been way better. Oh my God. Okay. I can't remember what we were talking about while we got onto Mr.
Magic
Mix's
characters.
magic characters. Thank you, Mr. Mix's Pitalik. Okay, so these magic characters can like body Superman basically, but then how come like we've never seen it in a film before, or like in any. So I've played like the Injustice video games,
Mhm.
and like the storyline of that is that Superman goes bad, which is a quite a common. I think comic storyline too. Like, what would you do if the most powerful being on the planet went bad? Like, how come they just don't call up Satana and just have her like say some stuff backwards and put him in a cage or an EGAC, you know?
I don't know. Like I think it's probably because it's a weakness, not like a killing thing. You can't
Right.
just defeat him in one. It's still going to take a bit.
Fair. Okay, fair. Yeah, so I guess yeah, by the time Zatanna started speaking, he
Mm.
would rip her head off, like if he really
Yeah,
wanted to.
they
Yeah,
could do. Yeah, the
right.
speed of him.
Yeah, true. Um, I'm just getting to like random questions now about Superman. Like you just mentioned the speed of him. Is he faster than the Flash?
No,
No, the Flash is the fastest
you know who the
thing.
fastest Flash is?
No.
Wally West.
Wally West. Was he like the original Flash?
No, Barry Allen
No,
is
so
the original.
Barry Allen.
So
Okay.
Barry has always has been said to know more about the Speed Force. Wally is more in tune with it. So Wally is
Ah,
faster,
how many
but
Flashes have there?
overall, yeah, there is
Okay.
actually if I can find it, there is actually a speed chart for DC
Oh, damn. Of course there
to
is.
say like who is the
Um,
fastest. DC speed chart. There
official
you go.
speed
So
ranking.
I've got it. So
Yeah.
the fastest is Wally
Oh, nice.
West.
Okay.
Two, Barry Allen. Number three is the Reverse Flash. Number
Ah.
four, Superman. Five,
Oh,
Black
wow.
Racer.
Okay.
Six, Cheetah. Seven, Wonder Woman. Um,
Ah.
eight, Godspeed. Nine, Shazam. 10, Kid Flash.
Okay, so I'm looking at this list, and there's what, three, four versions, four flashes, if we're counting Reverse Flash on there. Um, is that
There's a
all of
lot
the
of
Is like, okay. So there
no.
some flashes that didn't make this list that you
Yes,
know of.
there's a lot of
Ah,
speedsters that did not make this list. The thing
interesting.
is, this is written
Okay.
by DC, but then it is also controversial within fans.
Ah,
Because in my opinion, in Marvel, like I know we're jumping ship like now, the Pearson they say is the smartest character in Marvel, I do not agree with is the smartest character in Marvel.
if
Because
I were to
they've said,
hazard a guess, I would say Mr. Fantastic.
see, that's who I'd say.
Yeah.
They've said Moon Girl,
Interesting.
and I wouldn't agree.
Interesting.
Like, my
Huh.
argument for that would be the feats that they have
Mm-hmm.
done in the comics. Moon Girl hasn't got as many feats in intelligence and stuff like that. So I would say that Mr. Fantastic would be up there, or even Victor Von Doom
Yeah,
would be up there.
absolutely. Yeah.
There's
And
a
that's
lot of
why it's a
characters
great
I,
dynamic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't agree that she's that. That's Marvel.
Interesting. Well, yeah, yeah, that's Marvel. Anyway, back to Superman. So I've asked you this before, and I really want to like dive into it now because, again, this is something that not just that you know about, but this is something that you're very passionate about. Like this is something you take to heart, and this is why like I value the opinion on the question I'm about to ask. But what makes a good Superman? Like not just there's a multifaceted question. I know I've just like dropped a bomb on you here, but like what not just the character, or like what makes a Superman a good Superman, but also like what makes a good Superman story a good Superman story, like and what makes so what makes a good characterization of what you consider to be a Superman, and also what makes a really good Superman story.
If we go just on the Superman first, like what
Mhm.
makes a good one? For me, it's that thing of like balancing the god and the human. You've obviously got he is a powerhouse. He is the pinnacle of superheroes. He was the first hero. Like he was the first superhero creator, like comics, like that. Um, and the running gag is that he can't be beaten, and that's as we go back to the first scene in the trailer, I think that's one of the things James Gunn put that in there for, so the general public can see because the running gag is that this guy is not interesting because you can't beat him. Um, so I wonder if that's why he's put it in there. Um, and then I think you need the human side, like although he does the Clark Kent, the bumbling buffoon, and everything like that. he is still a family guy, family man.
Lucky he's a family guy.
Luckily, he's a family guy.
Huh.
Um, he falls in love with Lois. He has a dad. He has a mum, like Pa Kent and Martha. Um, he has to show that human side as well, which, if we're going on the acting side, is my biggest problem with the Zack Snyder films. That they didn't have the human side of Clark Kent enough, the family
Mm.
side and that. I know you had Martha Kent and you had Lois and that, but we never saw the grounded guy, really. It was all the god, pretty much. We saw Man of Steel, which the start of it showed him as a kid, which I don't agree with everything he was taught as a character in that film. Um, and there's nothing wrong with what they did. It was a take on it. It was a take on a character, which, again, I've put it on Instagram and stuff like that. Respect the past, embrace the future. Respect what's come before. You can enjoy other versions. You don't have to just pick one. Um, because I enjoyed Henry. I did. I enjoyed Henry Cavill. Like in some capacities, I thought he was great.
Mm.
I think he was hard done by in some of the storytelling. Um, for me, if I had, I've enjoyed all the Superman people. I've enjoyed every single one for some reason. Even the Brandon Routh film, I thought the film's a bit of a mess, but I liked him. I thought he was pretty good. My top two Supermans are Christopher Reeve, which no surprise there really to anyone,
Yep.
and now Tyler Hoechlin,
Tyler Hoechlin from the show,
Superman and
uh,
Lois,
Superman and Lois, right?
because you
Huh.
see more of the family man than in any other version of Superman. The guy in it
Okay.
has two kids. One has powers, one does not have powers. So that he's got to manage that. He's obviously got he's living with Lois. He's got to manage his work life and everything that, and then deal with also being Superman. It's a really good series, and I highly recommend if no one has ever watched that. There's 4 seasons of it. It's now finished, obviously, because this is coming. They've sort of like said that everything else is ending. All the DC stuff is now centered around this, or will be categorized as Elseworld.
Okay.
Um, but it's fantastic. That's they just need to balance the godlike guy with wanting to be a human in
Right.
terms of that.
And okay. And I guess this is like why he's really an interesting character because like again for the longest time I was also one of those people that was like, oh, he's so boring, he's so vanilla because he has every power and he can't be beat. And like, but I guess especially if all you're used to from Superman media is perhaps the Snyder films, not that necessarily I'm that, but anyway, if all you're used to is the Snyder films where he is just this godly being who scowls all the time, and that is a very uninteresting character. But if you're saying that there's that human element of him that is so compelling, um, I guess that's perhaps why, I mean, this is a question actually. Is that why, in your opinion, he's such a beloved character for so many people?
I think so, and also he's a beacon of hope. He's he's
Ah,
he's a beacon of hope. He's someone to look up to. Um, the whole point of the colors is so that he's striking and someone you would want to go towards. Um, the bright colors to attract someone, attract hope,
right.
attract people to be like, help me, please. And he's there. That's the whole point. He's always there. And he's what everyone's striving to be. They did touch on that in Man of Steel. They like one of the lines that Jor-El says, which I really love, is "One day they will join you in the sun" or something like that. I really like that line because it's like you are something for them to look up to, a beacon of hope. Whether they actually showed that is another thing in some
Hmm.
capacities, but um, that's
Huh.
one of the reasons I really like him. But then, as a good Superman story, obviously they have to come up with reasons why there's the vulnerability side there, and sometimes the family aspect is that vulnerability. One of the biggest things in his backstory is Jonathan Kent, obviously his dad, dies of a heart attack, something
Yeah.
he cannot stop. He
Right.
can't
Yeah.
save him, which was my that is probably my biggest problem with Man of Steel is that Jonathan Kent dies in a tornado.
Right. Yeah.
Whole point is that Clark can't save Jonathan Kent, but he could have done.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
it's
that's
a
my
really.
that's one of my biggest problems with that film, that it didn't teach Clark the lesson. Um, because he could have saved him. They could have come up with some reason of how he got flung out the tornado and somehow survived or something like that.
Mm,
But it happens in Smallville.
mm,
His dad dies of a heart attack in Smallville.
yep. Yep.
Um, I mean, we know Pa Kent is in this film. We don't know what his fate is or anything. We don't know what happens to him or anything yet. Um, which I've just thought is quite surprising actually, because I wonder if the Pa Kent scenes are now flashbacks. Because I don't know if
Oh,
because in the other medias, I don't know if Pa Kent ever sees him become Superman.
so that's interesting. And if this is so heavily based on a Superman comic,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
that has literally just popped into my head. I'm not sure because I
Huh.
don't. In Smallville, he never saw him become Superman. Don't think he did in the Christopher Reeve films. I think he was gone. He didn't
He
in
was
Man of
already gone, yeah.
Steel. He was already gone. So it was just making me think. I wonder if they're flashbacks, unless he's changed it and he is around. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. Um,
Hmm.
but in terms of a good Superman story, you've either got to give him something that he can't deal with like that, like a family aspect or something like that, or sometimes they do have to just write something that's so powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite story, which is one of the ones that James Gunn has taken inspiration from, is All Star Superman, and it's slightly cliched. It's one of those that people say, "Oh yeah, again, All Star Superman," but it's a fantastic story because you obviously Superman is powered by the sun. That's the whole point. The radiation it makes his cells powerful and all that. In All Star Superman, he's absorbed too much, and it's killing him.
Oh, wow.
So All Star Superman is the final story of Superman. It's like he is dying, and it's like Superman's bucket list.
Ah. Okay, that makes me want to read it. That's interesting. What can like
Mm,
a god being have on a bucket list? I want to know.
yeah. So like his
Oh,
final days and what he wants to do before he knows he's going to die.
that's quite cool. Oh
Mm,
man. And that's actually something you said is making me feel things as well. So that is interesting because both that aspect of like it's his bucket list, wishes, and he's trying to fulfill them or whatever, and also the fact that he sees um or is witness to his dad dying of a cause that he can do nothing about with all the power he has in the world, with like this as strong as he is, as fast as he is, um, he cannot stop that. Um, and like that to me, like your explanation just then made me maybe more than I ever have since I've watched not since I've watched the Christopher Reeve films, for example, uh, empathize with Superman. Because it's like, like all of that, everything you can do isn't going to detract from the fact that you can't save everyone. And that's a very real example of you can't save everyone. It's not that you can't just be everywhere at once. It's that there are certain things that are literally out of Superman's power.
yeah.
Heart disease. He can't control heart disease,
Mm,
Um and I guess it sounds like from also Superman, it's like maybe it's like a cancer thing. It's just too much radiation, sun radiation ultimately, I guess, if I'm trying to be scientific about it, but having not read the comic. That's really interesting. Um and I think I get what you're saying now actually, because that is part of the human element, isn't it?
mm,
Like that's the stuff that we understand as people. that we're there like, oh yeah, like so okay. So my dad died in 2011 of cancer of something that I couldn't control. Like even if I had Superman's power, I doubt I could have done anything about that, right? So this is a very real like moment of like empathy that Superman has gone through a similar sort of thing. And I guess yeah, that's that human element. I think that's been missing perhaps from a lot of recent Superman films, Zack Snyder. So yeah, like that's really interesting.
Really tells me
Never
you
thought of it
didn't
that way.
like those films, Dex.
I wasn't a fan. No, I wasn't a fan. It just they just felt too like try hard to be like gritty and dark and different to Marvel, maybe. And maybe again, I'm looking at it from a Marvel lens because I'm a fan of the Marvel films for the most part. Um, but yeah, it just as a contrast, I was like, this feels like they're trying too hard. So that was my biggest issue with it. So anyway, yeah. Um, but yeah, okay, cool. So what makes a good Superman? We got that. What makes a good Superman story? What else have we like picked? Have we haven't finished picking out the trailer yet, have we? Um, what else is in the
Okay,
trailer
what
that we
other
saw?
elements? Oh, I've got
Yeah,
to mention the theme tune.
the theme tune. Yes, straight away. Straight away, the first thing you hear.
So the first time I watched it, I wasn't sure on the guitar. I was
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, electric guitar version." But then when it actually kicks into the proper theme, I really like it. I love the John Williams theme. It's just
Yeah.
so iconic, isn't it? Like,
It's
and I heard someone earlier say on another like a reaction thing that they like the idea that when we do move into different versions of characters, like, and obviously at some point David will stop playing Superman at some point. That they like the idea that the next Superman will also have John Williams' theme, but done in a
oh,
different way again.
oh, oh, that's cool.
I really like that idea
Who said
that
that?
they came.
Whose idea was that?
It was on. It was on Kind of Funny. Um,
Okay.
Kind of Funny Games. I can't remember the name of
Okay.
the guy who said it, but yeah, I really, really like that idea that they would um do that. Like, things have been going around my head all day about this. Like, even I've already, for some reason, already thought about what will happen when David leaves.
Oh well, you're
Like,
already there.
I've already thought about it. I was like, would they, because he's such a timeless character. Like, I know there's the Marvel ones, but um, for me, it's like I know there's Sam Wilson has taken over as Steve Rogers. I feel slightly different about this guy. I think it's a harder one. Do you just recast and keep the same version? Or do you reboot again? I don't know. That's way off. I shouldn't really even be thinking about that yet. Really should have. But
It's
it's.
amazing you jumped to that future already.
I know.
Uh, so
I don't
okay,
want to think about
so
that
we've
yet, though. Probably I shouldn't be thinking about that. I've only got the first movie
let's
yet.
yeah, let's enjoy this one
Yeah.
while we've got him. Um, I guess okay. So on that note, because you mentioned two of your favorites slash, in your opinion, the best Supermen, which is obviously Christopher Reeves and Tyler Hoechlin. What do you think about the very little that we've seen thus far of David Cornswet existing as Superman and as Clark Kent, actually?
I really like the look of him. I
Okay.
really, really like the look of him. I think, as I said, he's emulating very much the Christopher Reeve Clark Kent.
Mm,
Definitely got that vibe. Um, we don't see a massive amount of him as Superman, which is surprising in a Superman trailer. You don't actually see him, and there's not much dialogue in the trailer. We don't hear him
yep.
talk.
Oh
We
my
hear him
God, I think
say
you're
like
right.
he literally says "home, take me home," and that is all we hear him say.
Oh, oh, you're right. Yeah.
We
Okay,
literally don't hear him
continue.
say anything else. There is only a few words in that, and then you hear the little kid say Superman, and then you hear chanting Superman, Superman, and that is all we hear in the trailer. Other
Yeah.
than John Williams, well, no, it's John Murphy is the new composer. Um, that's all we hear. So it's hard to judge. I think he looks great. I know the suit. got a lot of stick when it first came out. I straight away liked it.
I
Um,
mean,
yeah,
you,
I mean,
you
evidently. I mean, I'm a James Gunn fan, so like, I know people will say, "Oh, it's a James Gunn stan and all that and everything," but I do think he's a great choice for the character for the directing thing. And if it wasn't him, I would have probably still loved the fact we're getting a new version. Because above all else, I'm a Superman fan before I am a David Corenswet fan or a Henry fan or a James Gunn fan. I am the characters fan. So I will give every iteration I see a chance. And as I say, I've enjoyed elements of every single iteration. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, going back to David. Um, I think he looks great. Up until now, I think he looks great. I know, obviously, we'll have to wait now quite a while. I think until a proper full trailer. I mean, that was a teaser trailer. That was
Yeah,
just that wasn't the full thing.
2 minute teaser of like
Yeah,
we're well teased. Like 2 minutes is a long time for a teaser. So,
yeah.
mm.
One of the aspects I do love that I've read is they have said they took inspiration for his flying from Top Gun Maverick.
Ha! No way.
And that really excites me because Top Gun Maverick's flight scenes are amazing. And if they
It's
took
such a good film,
inspiration from
actually.
that,
Yeah,
like, I mean, we
yeah.
saw a snippet in the teaser of the teaser where he's going through some ice and you're on his back following his cape rippling. And that's all
Oh
we've seen.
yeah.
But
Yes.
if that's what we're getting, the
I
element of
understand the
speed and everything like that, I think it's gonna look pretty damn cool.
that's a good point. I can see the Top Gun Maverick inspiration now that you said like when well, yeah, because when we're on his back and stuff, it's like we're being like we're in
Mm,
the F-16 cockpit or whatever, like, you know, hurtling through the air. This is cool. Okay. There's one scene in the trailer. Um, there's a few scenes I want to talk about or continue talking about, but there's one scene in the trailer that I wanted your opinion on, and this is when Superman is like was making his way through this crowd of people, and they're all like chucking stuff at him. Like one, like a can, like hits him square in the back of the head. Obviously, he doesn't flinch. He's Superman, but like, what do you think's going on? What happened there?
I just no idea. So the only person, again, it was on kind of funny that I've heard come up with a theory is that something has happened, like someone's attacked or something's gone down or something like that, and the public have found out this was only caused because he is there or exists.
Ah, right.
That is the
Okay.
only thing that I've heard. I can't think of anything else. I think that's a good opinion, but they also their reasoning for that was they thought, what if Lex has got access to the Fortress of Solitude? Because we see that with the robot, which is maybe Helix, which is in the Man of Steel, but I can't remember if Helix is in. I think Helix is in the comics. It's like the butler. It's like there's Alfred in the Fortress of Solitude sort of thing.
Got it.
Um, he's got access to the fortress and released if he had like a rose gallery prisoned in there or something, and the public have found out, well, you kept these guys alive in this place. This is your fault.
I'm with you.
That's the best theory I've heard, but I haven't got my own theory at all. I really don't know.
No, fair. Because I think immediately after that scene is when he is alone in that building. He's presumably, locked everyone out, or that someone has
Mm,
locked everyone out, but Guy Gardner is there, and he also looks equally upset at whatever is happening here, and
yeah,
presumably upset at Superman specifically. So it's like big enough that someone from the Green Lantern Corps has to come and be like, even if it's the worst Green Lantern, to come and be like, "What the hell, man?" Like, you know. So I'm interested to see how that develops. And there was another scene actually that made me like it wasn't even like a think. It would like make me feel. It was a scene where where it's the kid with the flagpole and the Superman
yeah.
symbol on top, and he says Superman. And he's like, and he's calling out for Superman. and like there was a few different scenes, or like sets maybe, or I don't know what you call it. I guess scenes, yeah, for lack of a better word. There's a few different scenes where it looked like there was a bunch of different locations around the Earth, um, and maybe like Superman's influence is far-reaching beyond Metropolis. And to me, that was like that kind of got me in the feels because I was going, that he it, kind of what you were saying earlier, that this like symbol of hope is so far reaching that this kid is like crying out for Superman in this like war torn wherever he is, and he sees him as his only hope, you know.
Yeah, it's actually a comic callback. I found out.
Oh, no way.
It's actually so it's in Bolvian or something, the Bolvian country. It's not a real country, I don't think. And it's from one of the original Action comics where Superman goes there, brings the two militia generals together, and they talk it out rather than
Oh,
fighting. So again, James Gunn has done his homework.
that's
Like,
cool.
he's
Oh my
gone deep
God.
diving.
Whoa. And I like that. I like that as a story because Superman, one would
Mm,
assume, just punches his way through conflict. But to get
mm,
people to sit down and be like, talk it out, is something you rarely see,
mm.
you know. Um, and oh, what was the other thing? It was oh yeah. So the thing you mentioned, the theory from whoever it was, um, about like why everyone's pissed at Superman.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like,
kind of
if
funny,
he
yeah.
is, yeah, yeah, that's it. Kind of funny. So Batman has a similar. I can't remember what Batman media it was from. Might have been one of the Batman video games actually, which the Arkham series is excellent story, in my opinion. But one of the villains says to Batman, like, "I exist because you exist. Like the fact that you are you made me want to be me." Maybe it was the Joker. That sounds like a Joker thing
I
to
think it's
say.
the Joker because it's like yin and yang. They're like the opposite.
Yes,
Yeah, I think it's the
yes. I
Joker.
mean, yeah, now that I said it out loud, I was like, it can't not be the Joker. It has to be. But yeah, like, so presumably it could be the exact same with Superman. Like, someone looks at that being that beacon of hope and go, well, I want to extinguish that hope. I want to be that person that
Hmm.
snuffs that out, you know? Um, so yeah. Okay. Speaking of Superman villains, then, who are like your favorite, or in your opinion, like the best Superman villains that have existed?
Um, I mean, we've seen Zod. We've seen Zod a couple of times.
Yeah.
Zod's pretty cool.
Yep.
We've obviously seen Darkseid slightly. Um, from the Snyder Cut and obviously the animateds. Um, I really like Brainiac. I do really
Ah,
like
okay.
Brainiac, which
Yeah.
I'm hoping they do Brainiac at some point. I really hope they do Brainiac. Makes it Spitlick.
I guess he's classed as a villain.
Yeah, I mean, one of the other cliche ones is Doomsday.
Doomsday. Yeah. I mean, he killed Superman in the comic, right?
Yeah,
So,
in and in the film.
oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, obviously. Kind of,
Yeah,
again, the Snyder films. It's just anyway. Um,
it's just, they did that too quick. That was the problem for me with that one. Like we'd
okay,
only seen him in one film, and then you went and killed him,
that's
but
true.
then also
Yeah.
brought him back in the next film.
Yeah.
It had no gravitas to it. Like
Oh yeah, completely agree.
literally because you just brought him back straight away. There was no cooling off period. Like there should have been loads of movies before we brought him back again. Then,
I mean, like
um,
it was in the comics. Like he was gone for a
a
while,
long
wasn't he?
time we had
Like,
different versions. We
yeah.
had Steel, we had Eradicator, we had Superboy, um, a whole load that were trying to take his place. Um, that was the problem with that. But yeah, Doomsday. There's quite a few different ones. Parasite's quite a cool one.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of different ones now. Obviously,
I
Lex.
mean, well, yeah. I mean, like, I
I
guess
mean,
kind of like what you said about some of those other villains. Like, why? Like, I want to know why they're cool. Like, what's like, talk to me about one of them. Like, why is Parasite cool?
Because he can absorb the powers and stuff like that. Like he doesn't absorb his powers and take them like I am not, but he drains them of it, and he can as he
Ah.
drains the energy, he gets bigger and stuff like that, and bits and bobs. There's
Oh,
different ways and stuff like that. Doomsday, obviously, because he can tackle him, and I don't know if you know that when Doomsday dies, Doomsday will come back. Like, he does come back, and you can't kill Doomsday in the same way you killed him before because he's then immune to it.
oh,
So every time he comes back, you have to find a different way to kill the bastard.
that's insane. How does he come back? Where is he coming from?
Oh, there's can't remember exactly that, but there's the recentest one. He's just come back from hell.
Of course he has.
And
That,
then a future version of Doomsday has turned up, who's a god, like a god. He's thin and intelligent, which is even more scary.
that's terrifying. Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't got that far yet, but yeah, he's come back and it's not great. Um, who else does I mention? Zod, obviously,
Sod, yeah.
the Kryptonian.
He's
Lex
yeah, he's
is
like evil Superman,
mine.
right? So,
Yeah,
you know, yeah. And then you said Lex, sorry, yeah. You're talking about Lex.
Lex just obviously the intelligence thing. It's a man versus a god, but it's the brains versus the brawn.
Mm. Do you think there's any way to like, because I've seen some stories, again, maybe just Injustice, where you can actually sympathize with Lex because he's just a guy. He's just a man, especially when Superman turns
Mm.
evil, everyone turns to Lex and is like, help us. What do something about this. Um, like, is there any way like that because okay, the reason I'm mentioning this is because what you just mentioned of like God versus man. And you've already said that what makes a good Superman is like the balance of the godliness and the humanity. But Lex is all man. He's one of us. Well, not one of us. He's definitely like 1%er
Yeah, we'll
that
go
we
there.
cannot, exactly. He's yeah, but like he's a person. He's a human, you know. Um, and it's interesting that like we make that the villain. I'm kind of devil's advocating here, because like
I get what you're
he,
meaning, yeah, because you're
yeah,
like, why are we not supporting the human? We're supporting the god.
yes,
Um,
yes,
and I think it's because the man tries to act like the god, and the god wants to be a man.
that's cool as shit. That's so cool. I'm yeah, th that's that's a lot. That's a sound bite. We're clipping that. Um,
It's like
whoa,
the opposites of what they actually are.
holy crap! I never thought of it that way. That's so cool.
Oh,
Okay,
really, that's what it is. Lex is trying to be the bigger guy and the god and wants everyone to love him and everything, like he's this being, like, I have taken down everything, I have saved you, and all this. And then there's Clark out there doing exactly that, who wants to be the guy who just lives in Smallville and goes to dinner with his mother.
that's cool. That's very cool. I mean, yeah, you say it so plainly like that, and it's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Maybe that's it. Like maybe we sympathize more with the humility, obviously, rather than the
Mm,
dick. Okay, I'm gonna close with this because the like typical fanboy internet question. Who would win in a fight? Superman
mm.
and Homelander?
Superman.
Easily, right? There's no
Yeah,
question.
easily. There's not even a
Easily.
thing.
Yeah. And like people online are like, well, but Homelander fights dirty. And like, do you think Superman fights nice guys? Supervillains play dirty all the time. Superman owns them. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
no chance.
no chance. Superman and Sentry.
Superman.
Oh, okay.
Only because they say that Sentry has the power of, is it 10,000 exploding suns?
Yes.
What is Superman powered by?
Aha. Yep. So you think, like, via the transitive property of
Yeah,
mathematics, maybe that he'll like.
it might overpower him and just be like, yeah. So I'd still say Superman. I think Sentry would give him a good crack,
Hmm,
but I'd
yeah,
still
yeah,
go with yeah,
interesting.
better than that. But the one thing that makes me always be like this guy is because it's always Superman versus.
Ah,
Everyone always asks. It's never so and so versus so and so. It's always Superman
Superman.
versus.
Right. So the fact that Superman is the comparator is saying something.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen one yet that has given me a good argument as to why Superman would lose against a particular person. As far as I can see, it's always Superman. So I
I know
thought I
the
cout have
big
had
one
it.
online. The
Yeah.
biggest one I've ever seen is always Superman versus Goku, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And there is a YouTube
He
channel where they've done it twice, like proving who would win, and they've done it twice now because they had so many complaints the first time. Then they've done it like using the comics somehow. They've done it mathematically as well. It's mad.
Wow. Wow.
Um, yeah,
I refuse to look at it because I think weirdly, either way, I would feel torn about it. Because I loved watching Dragon Ball Z growing up, and Goku is basically, oh no, no, I say basically.
yeah.
There's
I'm gonna say
many.
for anyone who's not like watched us much, I'm the comic guy. You're the anime guy.
It's true. Hi, it's true. Um, Yeah, and like Goku, values wise, is very Superman, actually. Like he wants to do what's good for he's an alien from another planet, and he comes to Earth, and he has all these powers, but he tries to do good for his people and for the people of Earth. And despite all adversity, he always like trains harder and comes back stronger, and like is everyone's hope. Like when everyone's like, "Oh man," and this is quite a common recurring storyline in Dragon Ball Z, this particular villain is kicking all of our asses. Let's bring Goku in. Oh, he's kicking Goku's ass. Oh wait, here comes Goku rallying back, and now Goku wins. That's kind of like the Dragon Ball Z
Right, okay.
circular storytelling method, but very simplified. But yes. So that's a great question though, Superman and Goku. So yeah, I can see why it's debated online fiercely. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, as I
yeah.
say, like there was that one where they had to do it twice because people didn't agree with the answer in the first one, so they did it again, and then
Did they come up with a different answer though? Because I'm not
no,
sure. Well, there you go.
the
Who
same
wins? Who
answer,
wins?
Superman.
Superman. Uh-huh.
One of the simplest form they could say is like if none of this maths or anything works for you, the simplest form is we can say Goku is someone who strives to overcome limits. Superman has no
That's none.
limits.
Yes. That's
I
very
don't know.
true.
I've never watched Dragon Ball, so I'm not gaining the argument. Leave
Um,
it in the comments.
leave it in the comments. I love that. Let's do that. Leave it in the comments, y'all. Well, this has been great. I've really enjoyed it. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed it too. But yeah, this was episode one of Pop Culture, episode one of many, I hope. I've been Dex at Dex Does Cosplay on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're so inclined, I think I'm at Tyrannosaurus Dex on YouTube and Twitch. And Troy.
I'm Captain Tempest on Instagram, pretty much everywhere. TikTok, I sometimes post. But yeah,
um,
we're gonna have a few more people come on out with like different guests and bits when we talk about different things and stuff like that. And then what we've been watching and series and stuff that are coming out and bits and bobs.
yeah,
Reviews, a few reviews in that.
why not? If you're a geek like us and you love pop culture, then this is the place for you. Like it's the place for us. So, um,
Come here again to get pop cultured.
way nice. I like that. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Pop Culture. We will see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.